Sooners of Oklahoma at 12-0 and still looking for respect nationwide.
What is going on, Sooner Nation? Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Barry and Mack Show. As always, myself, Barry, personal trainer, sports performance coach out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And alongside me, former Sooner wide receiver, 2000 national champ, Mr. Damian Mackey. How are we doing today, D-Mac?
Yesterday was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Felt good to be in Norman. My little cousin is a badass slot receiver at Louisville High School. Scored 3 touchdowns Thursday night. Got invited up to the game. By the way, sophomore, and he's a 10-700 guy. He's gonna be a problem. DJ Martin III, but he got invited to the game, and we changed plans to be there. His dad's an NFL guy. His dad played corner, nickel in the NFL. I think DJ won a couple Super Bowls. Yep. Okay. So yeah. So he was like, I don't want to go, and I was like, I don't want to go either. I want to watch. I wanted to watch the game from the house and be able to do my notes and assessments and stuff. But essentially, at my school, it didn't make sense for me to not go. So, we do the whole Airbnb. We caravan from Dallas. Man, it just brought back memories to be in Norman. You know what I'm saying? And they did the whole pregame with us, and we did the lanyards and the walkthrough and all the stuff on the sideline. So all of that was it just brought back a lot of memories. And then we sat down in section 35. What is that, the west end zone or the south end zone? And we sucked.
South end zone,
South end zone, man. Listen, I posted some of my frustrations last night on OU Insider. We discussed what we were disgusted by against Temple. I'm going to say this, and I would love to see the O-line coaches, gurus, whoever of the world rebut what my eyes told me yesterday, and then what my analytical eye told me today when I rewatched the film. The offensive line was the best unit on offense yesterday, period. Were they good enough to win a championship? No, they were not. Tell me the unit that was better than the offensive line last night, and I'll shut up. I'll shut up. And so we'll discuss that. We'll discuss everybody else as well. I had some offline conversations that I won't go into specifics on this pod, but I did talk firsthand to some people who are intimately involved in what's currently happening. And I will say this, if nothing else, there's a plan. I promise you that. I'm not saying I totally agree with the plan. I'm not saying that, execution of the plan is necessarily happening, because I'm going to tell you my biggest beef. Jackson played terrible, and Jackson's a problem. We'll discuss Jackson. He's not my biggest beef. He's not. He's not my biggest beef. The offensive line was not the issue. By the way, Seth is not my biggest beef. The scheme, again, I just finished watching the film about an hour ago. We left so much meat on the bone.
So much.
And the offensive line gave him clean pockets, schemes cleared up. There was, by the way, some trash stuff. Some of the junk we run is junk. It's junk. It is junk. And we call it junk for the defense, right? The term junk on offense is designed to give the defense a bunch of things to think about.
Yeah.
And we have guys doing things that are not necessarily like a crisp 3-step slant or 2-step speed out. Junk routes are go where they aren't. Get eyes on the quarterback, expect the ball. That's junk, right?
Yeah.
That's not the kind of junk we're running. We're running some stuff. I'm like, what the freak are we doing? I want to talk about the first play of the game. But anyway, I'm all over the place. I've got a lot in this brain.
Let's go, man.
I've got a lot in here because I watched the game again. I didn't watch Temple twice. I didn't feel like we needed to. I watched the game again, and I've read a ton of comments. I've listened to a bunch of people. People don't know what they're talking about, or I don't know what I'm talking about, and my eyes are telling me different. A lot of the things that people say are concerns. I would say they are also concerns, but the biggest concerns, oh man, I'm just going to be blatant. I'm going to be honest. I talked to damn near every coach. Yes, I actually didn't get a chance to talk to BV, but I don't care. I'm going to tell the truth. And so
I'm going
to tell my truth. And it is what it is. Let's get into it, brother. Let's get into
it. Awesome, man. Yeah. Awesome, man. Big shout out. I was at the game yesterday as well. Got to see Brandon. Just OU Insider's been so cool with this whole thing. Shout out to them. Go grab yourself a membership. Shout out to all the folks who said what's up. Met some very cool people. The podcast is, I will say, man, since going over to OU Insider, way more just folks who maybe you wouldn't expect to be listeners saying hello and just a ton of that. So shout out to all of you who are supporting the show. Just ton of people up in the stands who said what's up. The Toby Keith thing, real cool.
Bro, that was so dope.
That was, oh
God.
man. They need to keep that.
I think it is. I think it's a
It's
beginning of the fourth quarter home game thing.
yeah, that needs to not just be this year. I think you got something with that. That's pretty cool. But man, let's get into it. We won't leave the people waiting. Again, was there. So seeing it live, you're trying to watch a few things. One of my favorite things to be able to see, and we're gonna go offense first, but man, you can see so much of the defense and what they look like. But let's attack this offensive issue because the offense was the ultimate issue. Defense, we'll get into it. There are some things that are still room for concern, but offensive line was the worry coming out of the first game. And I'm still not, maybe I'm a little higher on Jackson, a little lower on the offensive line. The issue that I came away with watching the game live and then on the second rewatch was twofold. One, Javonte Barnes and Gavin Sawchuk, guys, I know what we heard out of fall. I know what Gavin has done in the past. They are not it. It is just not. Now, maybe Javonte develops some more comfort, but there are just some things he has done his whole time at OU that he still continues to do that don't make him that elite game-changing back. He is a good back who does things, who on a championship team is a solid number 2 or number 3. But if he is your lead dog, you're not going to take the team where you want to go. You can tell live Taylor Tatum is the best back in the room, best looking back in the room, but also he's just not as cut up as Javonte is yet. But the most explosive back is Taylor Tatum. He also has the best vision. The way he hit the hole on his single carry was big time, and that is the kind of stuff that we got to see more consistently. And we know there's issues with rotation. We saw it last year with Tawee Walker, who was the best back in the room, not get the PT. And then twofold, and this is where I'll start to pass it over to you, D-Mac. They got to get healthy at receiver. I said it on the board. Brennan Thompson is a really good change of pace, number 3, stretch the field, that the skinny post stuff, that just go deep, use your speed, out leverage the defense. And Jackson missed him on a couple throws where he had him. And it would have been big time. He also missed Reagan's on one that would have been probably a touchdown. But I digress. They got to get healthy because Thompson is not a better route runner than Farouk, Anthony, Burks for sure. Burks is head and shoulders the best receiver in that room. And I don't think Anderson is also very good, and Anderson could be an NFL guy, but man, what Burks is a dude. So I'll pass it over to you with that, D-Mac. Talk about what you saw with Jackson. Talk about what you saw with the O-line, and maybe give some people some hope there, because I think that's the ultimate concern with the fans is what's going on in that group, and then also receiver and running back, man. And tight ends, I will say tight ends played well. That probably was your best position group, you think, right? No? Still no go. I thought you missed some stuff with Bauer, and obviously Jake had a couple big catches. But talk about – all right, man. Talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. Let's start a receiver. I'm gonna save a line for later. Let's start.
Okay.
They're injured.
Yeah.
Brandon's not an X. Got confirmation. He has to play X now. By the way, that makes perfect sense to me, right? That makes sense. You guys are down by the freaking way, dude. So I'm on the field. They come out.
Yeah.
Here comes Anderson. he's in his shorts, whatever. These guys all wear like the 7 inch. They probably wear the 6 inches, bro. I'm like, whoa, like,
five
yo,
inch,
the
5 inch
you're
C.
the walk-on community got those when I was at OU. Like, we don't want those. We want ours at the knee or lower. They pick the 5, 6 inches, which listen, I'm a knees out, breeze out guy now. So I get it, but I'm
Yep.
not fine. Anyway, Nick's out there. He's close to healthy. He's got some stuff. The expectation is he any day now. Any day now is really what people are thinking. But Gibson walks out. He's an inch and a half taller than him. He might be 2 inches taller than him. Gibson's an NFL dude. And I'm talking to some individuals. I'm talking to some people. Again, I'm not gonna name drop and stuff, but I'm talking to some folk. Gibson has the heart of a lion. So I'm told. Like, he's the guy who he feeds on key moments in the game. He feeds on fierce competition. He feeds on, and here I am, right, pushing up a guy who we're just not going to see this year. So, but
Yeah.
I was just surprised at, like, Anderson's a tall, big. Anderson's a thick, good. He's an NFL looking receiver.
Oh yeah.
Gibson's a inch or two bigger, bro. No. An inch and a half to 2 inches bigger.
Wow.
It's substantially bigger, and I was just like, damn, like, bro is going to. We need him back. We need him back.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start here. Number one, I feel bad for 81. Little kids got to go out there and play big time minutes.
Big minutes.
But here's the bigger issue. It's an indictment on 17. And 17 is not hurt yesterday. By the way, by all indications, 17 had a good week of practice. And I at the game, I can't see it as well as I can at home. That's why I like to watch the game from home, rewind and whatever. I didn't see him. I don't know if he played. I didn't see him.
Yeah, he played quite a bit.
Okay, well, good for him. We didn't feature him in any capacity.
He didn't get separation.
Yeah,
it was that simple.
And even on the rewatch, I didn't really much see him. 13
Yeah.
played minimal, which again, that, like, dude, how are you a grown ass man 4 or 5 years in college and you've got an 18-year-old kid screw out of high school? Has to be a focal point, right? That just lets you know how fast you can go from a ton of depth to no depth. Anderson's nicked, Gibson's knee, Farouk's foot, and then boom. I didn't even see 5. I didn't even see him.
I don't think 5 played.
I don't even remember seeing him. The only 5 I saw was Woody. And so the expectation is receiver is going to improve when injuries subside. And we'll see. To me, receivers are really simple. We'll see. Because the ceiling is still high if guys get healthy, because Burks is a guy who you can see. He's going to be a guy who's going to be fun to watch for the season, hopefully 2 seasons, NFL guy. Anderson's a guy who, of course, he just has to stay healthy, right? And so, those two complement each other. When you've got an outside guy where a safety has to cheat over, otherwise we're going to get beat. And then you've got an inside guy with Burke who can, he did a lot of his slant stops and under routes and quick slants, backside slants away from the play. They got some good cooking there. And then if you got Brennan taking the top off, that's a good recipe of a receiver core that can get some damage done until you get Farouk and some of these other guys up to speed. Word on the street is Ivan Kearney.
Ivan Carrion, yeah.
Zion Kearney.
Yes. Oh, Zion Kearney.
I was getting confused.
Yeah, Zion Kearney is.
I was getting confused yesterday because I'm asking, like, yo, what's going on? What the hell did they receive? I'm literally asking hella people, like, what's up? And so I'm hey, Raggins is gonna play. And then I was getting Ivan and Zion confused, right? So you know me, I just do numbers. When I type
Ivan's
numbers.
the 6'6" big boy. Zion's a little more of like a true X.
He's 6'1.5", 6'2".
Yeah.
So I was told both are very close, and if needed to play, they could play this season. So that's
Zion's big time. Zion Kearney is big time.
Recruiting. Listen, Barnes is big time. I don't see it. So I don't see it. I want to see it, and I'm going running back next. And I'm coming for necks on that. I'm coming for neck bones.
That's big time. Oh man,
I got to see. I got to see the angle I had at the game.
Yeah.
We're going running back next. But all I wanted to say is that receiver, we need to get healthy. And
Yeah.
we've got some pups that are close. I was told Petaway had a good week of practice. I didn't see them featuring him anyway. And then I'll talk about kind of like mindset around how all this comes together. Running back.
Okay. Get it.
They're terrible.
Wow.
We're running the veer and shoot. All right. And a lot of people, oh, this and that. By the way, we'll talk scheme, we'll talk Seth, all that stuff. I'm talking about all this. Listen, I'm a Sooner. I want to win. My little cousin was in the recruiting thing, and at halftime they put us in this room, and they have these 4 pillars, right? And the fourth pillar is win championships. I came to OU, I didn't know, but when I got there, I quickly found out OU was built around winning, right? Like we win. That's what we do here. So I'm gonna speak the truth about winning. I actually had purview to where I was sitting. A lot of times we were near the south end zone going out. We run the veer and shoot. Let's talk about that. Right. So we recruited the #1 quarterback in America who ran the veer and shoot at high school and was phenomenal at it in that system there.
Yeah.
Levy thought he was a perfect fit for his system here. Seth runs a system that's a little different than the veer and shoot. However, we handpicked JFA. By the way, he doesn't get capitals from me anymore. He's all lowercase right now. We handpicked JFA to stay. We sent Dylan walking, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't want to hear no damn Dylan Gabriel. They had to get a kick return and a punt return to win that game. If they don't get a kick return for a touchdown and a punt return for a touchdown, they lose too. I don't want to hear no Dylan Gabriel stuff. But we're running Jackson's stuff.
Yeah.
All right. And the sign of a good coordinator is to make sure they run an offense that suits the quarterback. So although Seth needs to own some of the stuff we're gonna speak to, we just need to park that there first. We are running Jackson's offense. He's run for years. We kept him and kept this in place. This is not the bones of Seth offense. I did talk to Seth, and I will say this. I don't know. I think I'll be okay to say this. I said, Seth, man, what the hell is a power football? And he was like, Mackey, we got to run, based upon the strength of who leadership is. Boom. Makes sense. Make perfect sense. You know what? That makes perfect sense, right? So let's park that. Running back. The veer and shoot offense is designed to get a hat on the hat, find the crease, get skinny, get through it. That's what the offense is designed to do, right? You're gonna overload one side, you're gonna leave a man, you're gonna run zone read off of it, you're gonna run sprint off of it, you're gonna all the RPO stuff off of it, right? Guys, watch the film. Watch our running backs and their tracks, and then watch other teams who run similar versions or renditions or some principles of what we do. Our running backs are in a full tilt sprint into the line of scrimmage, head down, shoulders lean forward. Their eyes can't see anything. Go back and watch the film. There are plenty of plays. There is a hat on a hat. Yeah. There is a hat on a hat. I'm not saying we're moving guys and separating 3-yard, divots between the defensive line and you can crease them this way and that. I think actually Barnes did have one good one. I don't know, quarter, second quarter, something like that. First guy who can tackle him, tackles him. But needless to say, there are plenty of plays where I say to myself, okay, if you ask me, Mackey, which position group on offense has the lowest ceilings, they can just go back 2 weeks ago and listen to what you and I discussed. And we said it's probably the offensive line. The most questions on offense are the offensive line. When I watched the game yesterday, when it came to productivity and execution versus talent, the offensive line, I know I said I was going to go there because I really don't want to say negative things directly about, the school that I am alumni of players playing right now. But guys, the offensive line gave Jackson clean pockets. The offensive line allowed us to do progression routes, allowed us to do action routes. Now, not some of that junk stuff that we ran. I saw us the first play of the game. This pisses me off. By the way, Seth, this pisses me off.
Yeah.
First play of the game. We run counter action with the offensive line away from the way we're running.
With the GT pulling the sweep.
We're running the guard tackle are pulling the opposite direction. So we're trying to give Houston eye candy to say, Poole was supposed to run with. These guys were pulling triggers. I'm going to talk about this on defense. Our guys don't do it enough. Their guys were pulling triggers pre-snap. You're coming
Yeah.
C gap, or you're coming alley. You're coming B gap,
Yeah.
and that's why Burks gets cleaned up that very first play.
Yeah,
They don't even.
64 couldn't get out there fast enough. It was the center
There
had
was
no
no getting out.
chance.
There was no
There,
getting out. The play
yeah,
side guard and tackle are going the opposite direction,
gone.
so it's a short porch. If the guy doesn't read it, he's coming upfield. Boom, he blows it up.
Is your
So I'm
goal
like,
there? Hold on. Is your goal there just to freeze that D line for a second with the eye candy, or what? Like that to me seems like that just wouldn't work at all.
it works if you run the zone initially 3 or 4 times,
Got
and
it.
they see, or you run the counter to 3 or 4 times, and we're beating them play side or to the counter side, and those guys are trying to scrape to anticipate. We run at the first play. So it doesn't
Yeah,
make sense, right? These guys are
yeah,
all pins and needles, pins and needles, pins and needles. They're just getting a field. Boom. He runs right into
yeah,
a TFL. Okay. So I know I'm all over the place because I literally said I gotta watch this again.
yeah.
Running backs, we're not good. I went back and looked at the stats. I think Javonte has 12 for 40. Arnold has like 11 for 13 because they do sacks and things of that
Yeah,
nature. And my
yeah. He
numbers
had
may be
some
off a
good
little bit.
runs.
He
Arnold
had some.
probably was the best back.
Well, he got some sacks too. So I think the plus
Yeah,
minus he ended somewhere, and he had some good. We did some good QB run stuff,
yeah.
and then we got Sawchuck 4 for 4. It just so happens that when the pup comes in, it's 1 for 6. He's averaging 6 yards a carry. He only gets 1 carry. I think he has a bust on a play.
He does.
We run QB lead, and he does a great job leading up. The first time we ran it, and Jackson gets the first. He looks cute. By the way, say Jackson Arnold. You're not a stud yet, bro. You're at OU. Quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Quarterbacks like Landry Jones don't get respect here, and those guys broke records, right? People make fun of Landry Jones, bro. You're not good enough to quietly jog out of bounds like you're Baker Mayfield. You ran that quarterback lead down the sidelines, and then you you could have stuck your freaking foot in the ground and probably scored.
Ooh,
It's in the second
yeah,
quarter. You watch the play and you
yeah.
look at it. I get it. You don't want your quarterback to get killed, but bro, you're not it yet, bro. Like you're not. And I'm
Baker probably
watching him,
does not go out of bounds on that play.
and he's cute with it. Like he's real
Yeah,
cute. Like bro, we need you
yeah,
to go out there and be a dog. Go earn it like you're supposed to earn it. But listen, I let people tell me Barnes had such a great fall. Barnes is this, Barnes is that. And I'm not trying to like beat the kid up. And there's some people like Mackey doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I probably don't, because there's a certain style of running back I like. There's a certain style of
yeah,
running back I don't love. Like that's just my bias. But I do like running backs that run the daylight. And
yeah,
Barnes does not run the daylight. There isn't anybody who can tell me Barnes runs the daylight. There is not anybody who can tell me Barnes can consistently break 2 tackles. I don't think there's people who can say he can consistently break 1 tackle.
can't.
Right. And so I am not hating on him. I'm telling you what I see, and he's not nullifying my prejudices of him based upon what he's shown me for 2 seasons. He's
Yeah,
not nullifying. And I said it. I said, I'll eat crow. Boom, 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 boom. I talked to some people, and they're like, Mackey, if he gets the majority of the snaps today, you'll see. Because I literally, again, I don't want to tell on myself, but like I literally was on the sidelines, like I was being honest. Like, hey, bro, I gotta be honest with you. I don't think he hit. To
yeah.
people
Well,
who
we might
matter.
have been the only show not giving him his flowers.
I
Preseason.
literally was like, bro, I don't think he's it. And the response to me was, Mackey, if he gets the majority of the carries, you'll see. I said, bet. I want to buy it tonight. He got the majority of the carries, and sure enough, he's ducking his head. I mean,
Yeah,
it looks like we're running 22 power. It
yeah,
looks like we're running, you know, fullback dive.
yeah.
And it's not
His head goes down
the
immediately
very
when he gets the
he
ball.
should be having he should have the ball high and tight. He should be at a guard and pressing making the backers come up field. So when they cover gaps, he can go to a gap. They're not, you replace gaps. That's how you do it. And it doesn't happen. Again, I'm not making excuses for the line. Definitely not making excuses for Beatonbow. But I am saying I watched the game. They weren't terrible. The running backs were terrible. DeMarco Murray would have ran for 150 yards yesterday. You cannot make me believe otherwise, because he had uncanny eyes and he knew how to set up his blocks. It's
Yeah,
not an accident. The puppy goes in, and all of a sudden things look a little cleaner, and he's not running a sprint the first step he gets the ball.
yeah,
There's a term you use in that scheme called press the hole. You're supposed to press the hole, right? I ran power football when I was a kid. We pulled the guard 90% of the time. If we ran 22 power, god dang, your track was one step outside the guard's ass pre-snap, run straight there. Like that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's not what you're supposed to do in this offense. You're supposed to run where they aren't. You're supposed to press and create angles where they over pursue when you can cut back. And we're not doing it. Sawchuk, again, we said this before, he needs that first level to be clean. Get him in the second level, he can make people miss. He can beat you a speed. Yeah. But that first level, he struggles when it's not clean there. Whereas I also understood, but I don't want to beat Barnes up too much. It got to a point where he was like, I just better not fumble, just try to get as many yards as I can. Yeah. We're trying to squeeze the clock. So I get that part. But listen, if you're a dude, go out there and make a play. How about you go out there and bust one, score a touchdown, and then the game's over? You know what I'm saying? Versus like, I'm just going to stick my head down and hope for the best. So running backs are terrible as far as I'm concerned. Tight ends. Roberts, obviously, it's interesting, right? Both of Roberts' big plays are schemed up plays. That's the offensive coordinator.
And I love that play. I love seeing that play kind of back in the arsenal like that. 100%. It's a great play.
100%. So you got a sniffer. Well, actually, it's not a sniffer. You got an offline next to an online, and the offline is taking everybody, which is Bauer, which everybody knows he had a good week one. And then, of course, Roberts is acting like he's going to go get the background, and he just runs right after him. Great scheme.
Great play.
Right. That's literally a scheme to play, touchdown. And then the second one we thought iced the game. Very similar play. We run the action. Robert gets free again. That's not when the bullets are flying to me. I guess Roberts needed to catch that second one. That was kind of a pivotal point.
Yeah, that was big time. They would have gotten the ball with like minute and 40 left in the game.
Let me speak to that, though. It's second down, not third down. So, again, that's your offensive coordinator being a step ahead on a down with their heavy run. If you guys go watch the play, Roberts, the one that we think is going to ice the game before we have the stupid-ass penalty, that's a second down play where we got some positive yards on first down. We run action second down. And by the way, if Jackson throws him, just throws it place high. He might score a touchdown. He might score. But at least, but Bauer drops a key play. And again, I'm watching it. And 3rd and 13. By the way, Jackson throws a dart.
Yeah.
Jackson, I got to watch a little more, but it feels to me intermediate in the hash marks. He's good. I feel like he's always late throwing deep, which last year was not an issue. Last year he was maybe it's just feel with Brennan, because he had a great feel with Anderson. I mean, Anderson, he's dropping in the bucket multiple games. Tulsa comes to mind. I mean, there's multiple games where he's
and Farouk, Kansas comes to mind. He's had some great throws, a little more to the sideline, but he's great with those throws normally.
But to me, the tight ends, the big play Bauer needs to make, that's a game-changing play. We're fighting to keep. I think we're still up 8 at the time. I think it's 14-6 second quarter, and we're really just trying to put the game away. We're this close to putting the game away at halftime, and then of course they gave us pizza and stuff, and they made us watch this video. So when I come out, when I go in, it's 14-6. When I come out, it's 14-12. I'm like, what the hell happened? There's only, a minute went by. I didn't see the cover 4, cover 2. They're trying to show 3 pre-snap, and then they try to roll to cover 2, and somebody thinks it's 4, blah, blah, blah. I didn't see it. I saw it on the rewatch though. So tight ends, I didn't love it, because we needed Bauer to be the guy when we needed him to be the guy. Seth schemed up those plays for Roberts. That's the OC. We don't want to give the OC no credit when they scheme it up, but then they're both wide open. Just catch the ball, bro. We needed Bauer to make the catch, and that catch was critical. I think it's 3rd and 13 that he drops it. Receivers, running backs, tight ends. Let's do quarterback.
Let's go. What you thinking? Man.
He needs competition. He needs to sit his ass on the sideline at least a possession a quarter, or at least a couple possessions per half, and watch the game. I watched the game again. Okay, I watched the game again. Josh Heupel was my quarterback. Nate Hibble was my quarterback. Jason White was those are my 3 quarterbacks, right? Patrick Fletcher. I don't know. I didn't play receiver.
Shout out Fletcher.
I didn't play receiver. I didn't play receiver when Pete Fletcher was a Q. I didn't play receiver. I was a TP.
Shout out
Hilarious.
Patrick Fletcher.
But my three quarterbacks, right? Jason, I would say J-Dub, when he lost his ability to run, he really got better as a passer.
Yeah.
Or the mental aspect of being a passer, right?
Yeah.
You got to take the easy stuff. And then so here we go. Quick game. Linemen are doing quick sets. And a lot of our quick game is some type of RPO action, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our quick game is show the ball or this or that. So the lineman might even be doing semi-run type sets in some instances and trying to fool the defense. Jackson can't have quick game and hold the ball. That's on him. All right. Progression. So some type of action, right? We do some type of like not a full boot, but you turn your back to the line of scrimmage, or you hold the ball down, the running back's going through, you're faking some type of draw, something like that. We ran 3 or 4. One that comes to mind is go back and watch the interception. So there's 2 issues with the interception. Number one, he underthrows Raggins. He needs to throw the ball into the middle of the end zone. Raggins, and by the way, Raggins has his guy beat by position. He had not stacked him. So in other words, Raggins is not in front of him where you could just throw the ball and Raggins could leap, he could just run and the DB has to follow him. The guy was still underneath him. If Jackson had to throw it to his back shoulder and make him get skinny, that's where the ball needed to go. And it needs
to be a catch or an incompletion.
He needed to throw it skinny and make Raggins have to turn back this way. That way he takes the DB's angle. Go watch it again. Brennan is stacked his guy. He's a yard and a half. All he's got to do is throw it over the play side safety who's come down to rob. The play side safety's robbing. The guy who gets the pick, I believe, is chasing Raggins. Brennan is wide, just running to the other pylon with the DB a yard and a half behind him. My point is that play is designed to read safety. One safety ran, one safety had sat. You replace the safety that sits. That is freaking high school football. I know Jackson knows that. I think he's pressing, but if you go back and watch the play, the safeties very clearly declare one's running, one is. You can see the safety say, "Oh shit." And you can see Brennan's at an angle where there's nothing the safety can do. It's just a nerf because Brennan's guys a yard and a half behind him. He's already stacked. He's stacked and by him just by virtue of alignment. So it's a bad read and it's a bad throw and it's perfectly designed and it's not perfectly blocked, but they pick it up. And Jackson steps up comfortably you can see the pressure isn't where it's like, oh my God, there's pressure. No, he made a play with comfort. It's an inaccurate throw. It's the wrong read and it's underthrown. And it's a huge momentum shift. And those are, with all due respect to the SEC, that's how the SEC dials it up. Does that make sense? Yeah. The SEC will run power, lead, counter, and they dial up that play where they say, okay, this is the touchdown scoring play. We got to go score a touchdown. Not only did we not score, not only did we not get a catch, not only did they, stop us, it's a pick. And it's a pick and a play that's perfectly designed. I wouldn't say perfectly blocked, but they execute the blocking scheme. The receivers execute the routes. The defense, it's a novice who just heard me say this could go watch this on TV and say, oh, I can see it. One safety's sitting and you can see Brennan running to an angle he can't get to. And the other one is not stacked where, the ball has to be perfect. If Jackson throws a perfect pass, Raggins can catch it. Yeah. But he didn't leave himself any room for error. That's on Jackson Arnold. Like, that's on you, bro. Like, I remember watching film, bro. And again, I always talk about the Texas, right? Texas, my freshman year, they're like, yo, run a curl. I'm like, coach, he's inside. Damn it, Mack, he beat him inside. That one, I was like, no one gave me no sympathy, bro. Like, how am I going to run a curl on a man who's a half man inside of me?
That's a great story.
And we're in trips, so I don't have a lot of room, right? I can't just I don't have a lot of room. Curtis Fagan's right there. No one gave me sympathy, bro. I got cussed out in meetings. Jackson Arnold needs to get cussed out for that. Like, he legit needs to get cussed out. Like, bro, what are you doing? Look, the safety is sitting there on the hash, and there's Brennan running behind him. Throw the ball to Brennan. Why are you throwing to the true freshman pup who hasn't beat his man and the safety still hanging back?
Yeah.
Those are 7 points you don't get back. Those are 7 points that kills your momentum. Those are 21-6 versus 14-6, and now everybody's getting more anxiety. Those are games where I'm watching our score and I'm watching Bama. Both games are 14-6 at the same time. It just so happens Bama starts to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. And I think Bama wins 42-17. Is that the
yeah, and then they just exploded for like the last 11 minutes.
They scored 28 in the fourth quarter. That's what happens to a team like Houston if you execute.
Yeah.
You can't minimize that. The couch quarterbacks, whatever the hell they call them, I get it. Because we didn't take advantage of it. They get to say, see, I told you. But if we take advantage of that and kill a little bit more of Houston's momentum, take a little more of their pride, they're more willing to give us more juice. Yeah. But when we give them the pick, that's Jackson. I could pick 5 plays where I'm like, if Jackson, and again, that's revisionist theory, so I don't want to be an asshole. Like, I don't want to be an asshole to Jackson because I'm a Jackson fan. I'm a JFA dude.
Yeah.
But if your quarterback's playing that bad, you got to give somebody else a chance if they're close. And the word on the street, which I've heard everyone say, again, you know me, I'm nosy. Barry, I'm nosy. I'm nosy. I might go to campus once every 2 years, 3 years, like once every 10 years for a while. I hadn't gone for a long time.
Yeah.
I live in Dallas now, so I can go. I'm asking, gosh dang it, is Hawkins as good as they say is?
Is he really real?
Yeah, is it legit or are people lying? People tell me Hawkins, they got to figure out to make sure he get enough burn because they don't want him to leave.
Listen.
If that's the case, Barry, Jackson played bad enough to justify saying, hey, kid, again, let me just tell you how film will go at OU. This is how it will go. I'll give you a real game. K-State in Manhattan. I'm the starter going into the game. Had a better week than Jay Norm. I think I told you they had some dude who's like a real gang member. Like, bro, we're in college and you're like throwing gang signs. Like,
oh my gosh!
Like, bro, you're a real gang member.
Welcome to 2000 college football.
Fuck out of here! I'm like, get the hell out of here. He's really like, yeah, cuz some.
Oh man, it's about it.
But anyway, but he was a good little player. I ain't gonna lie. He reminds me of B. Shelby. Good little player. Obviously, they've got Cooper too. So they've got Cooper and this guy. They're kind of like the cheetah, right? That guy's more of a cover guy. Cooper's more of the play in the alley because Jay Norm and I both were killing Coop. Jay Norm play. In fact, I think the guy may have jammed me or like rerouted me. He didn't jam me, but I think I got rerouted on something. I'm supposed to do something, cross the face, and because I didn't cross the face, the safety could see something else, and right?
Yeah.
Jay Norm, the guy was just too small for. So Jay Norm was able to big boy him. And so we're watching film. This is going into Nebraska. We played Texas, K-State, Nebraska. We're watching film. I knew the guy rerouted me. I knew, like, probably a couple plays I didn't do as well as I should have. And Coach Spur was like, Mackey, what do you think? What do you think I said? What do you think I said?
You probably said that you probably did not give in to the situation.
I absolutely, the film don't lie, bro. We're watching the film. That's the thing. Like, I can't talk my way out of it. We're watching the film.
You're stuck.
We run 98. I'm supposed to run an outside corner route to make sure the safety gets out of there so the X can do a good slug or whatever. I didn't do a great job. Okay. I did it like 2 or 3 times. Jay Norm is just, watch out, little dude. Yeah, he's punking, buddy. In fact, we're starting to throw it. Josh starts throwing it to Jay Norm because Jay Norm's punking him. So Mackey, who do you think should start Nebraska? You think I'm a lie? You think you know what I'm saying? Like, we're watching the film and I'm like, Coach, Jay Norm played better, man. Like, I'm looking at our grades. Wow. My grade's like a 72. His grade's like a 97 because he had some big plays and big catches. And I'm like, he got a higher score than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't get mad. He played better. Like, Jackson he does. I get it. He's a year ahead of Hawk, and I'm not watching Tuesday, Wednesday practices. I'm not watching Monday, Thursday is very mental. Monday is really the cleanup for the last game. So we play the game Saturday, we watch film Sunday, we watch more film Monday. We go over the entire film from a special teams, offense, defense perspective. Monday's practice is to show that you learned on the shit you screwed up on Saturday and that you're going to continue to do the things you did right. That's how it was. It's very mental. We're in shells, no hitting. get, guys who are injured, rest up, whatever. If I'm Hawkins, I have to say coach. Yeah. I just think about these. Like, we'll be on Monday film, and I'll be like, hey, Coach Spurrier, aren't I supposed to get to 12 depth and turn on the inside shoulder? Like, you're kind of hating on your teammate, but you're just doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, and a
Yeah.
part of you is like, I don't want to hate on my teammate, but the other part is like, bro, you didn't do what you were supposed to
Trying to
do. Like,
play.
yeah, like football is military, man. If the assignment is to go to this tree, hold down the fort, plant the flag, and kill all the people who try to come, damn it, that's what you're supposed to do. You shouldn't go to the waterfall. You know what I'm saying? You got to go to the tree. Jackson missed stuff that was designed correctly. Jackson didn't take the outlet. By the way, BV alluded to it. Listen to the freaking presser.
Yeah.
Seth alluded to it. Listen to the presser. There are plays designed up that are there. He missed.
Yeah.
And I think they're both puppies. I think Hawk should get a chance simply because defenses have to play him different than they play Jackson. Jackson is a threat with his legs, where, by the way, they spied him a little bit to the field, especially. They'd have that backside backer hold a little tighter versus sink in case he tried to spill, and it worked for them a couple times. But Hawkins is a different story. Hawkins is a guy who's a running back. He's probably the best runner.
He's explosive, man.
On the upperclassmen. I don't know about Tatum, but the other two.
Yeah.
But also he's natural. He'll run away. He'll run to angles that don't give you easy tackles versus Barnes. Like Barnes, I'm like, bro, you're setting yourself. Oh, he just got tackled. Like he gave himself the angle to make it easy for the DB to tackle. I'm like, bro, kill the angle so the DB has to decide and then go the other way. Quarterback was terrible. Just like I said, our line was terrible last week. Quarterback was terrible. Okay, let's talk O-line. O-line, let me get all the stuff out of the way. They have the lowest ceiling. It's true.
Yeah.
They also have injuries.
Yeah.
That guys need to get healthy. Right? Having some conversations about the center position and what's going on there and guys need to get healthy. I think that's pretty clear and evident. Everyone knows that. Their best five are not healthy today. Their best five will be healthy in hopefully by Tennessee. Hopefully.
They need to be.
Right? It's possible. It's possible. I would say for sure Texas, around that time period, that top five, assuming the other guys stay healthy.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, Beanie Ball cleaned up some shit, guys. He did. They cleaned up a lot of when we watched the first game, and I didn't watch it twice, but I'm like, guys literally got beat everywhere you could get beat. D-line getting skinny. Did you see Dominic get skinny and get that sack? How skinny he's got. The zone side of the line is trying. I'm talking about on our defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Dominic Williams gets skinny through that. He gets skinny through there, and then he kills the quarterback. We got killed by that by Temple. We got manhandled by Temple, and then we got the short corner by Temple. Number 5 for Houston's a good player, and he's a good player. And he got some sacks, and he made some stuff cook. Yeah. Better player than anybody on Temple. They blocked him better. Yeah. More importantly, the cohesion around the stuff we were trying to do, you could see the unit working together to pick up their responsibilities. Go watch how many times Houston would overload the man. So here's what Houston was doing. They were manning up on the man side and then bringing a backer late. And Jackson caught it, by the way, and Barnes caught it, and they moved to the appropriate side. And Barnes, I gotta give him props. Like, yo, that backer came through the B gap or one time the A gap and stoned him. But that's blitz pickup in practice. Like that, you practice that in practice. It's a period called blitz pickup. Now let me ask you a question, Barry. And I don't know if you know the answer, but let's say we're in a progression route, a 90 series route, which is a deeper depth. It takes longer for guys to get into the routes. Yeah. And you see pre-snap, there's blitz. You move the running back over to help pick up the blitz. What do you think the quarterback will do if they're like, oh shit, they're declaring blitz? What do you think will be like a check or something the quarterback will do in light of that?
We're going to try and get the ball out faster.
Thank you. So when by the way, I know Jackson felt Barnes fill that gap because it's 2 yards away from him and he stones. It's 2 plays. He stones the blitz. Boom. Yet he holds onto the ball like it's a typical progression route. That's wrong. That's the whole point of blitz period And blitz pickup is to get the ball out when you recognize blitz, because when they're blitzing, they're giving something up, and that's why the safeties try to replace, right? So the ball's got to come out. I believe by that point, Jackson was so shell-shocked to make another mistake, because I think he felt his mistake, which was the interception, was what turned the tide. This is just Mackey's deductive reasoning and some assumptions.
Little
So just
psychological assessment here.
Just because I felt like I just won't forget, they run QB lead. He gets to the sideline. Go watch it again. He could potentially score, but he kind of issues himself out of bounds, looking cute, runs the ball, throws it to the ref. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we good, we fresh. And then here we are, a quarter later, he throws an interception, and he's afraid to throw the football, because he knows if I throw another pick and we lose and I've got 2 picks, it's on me. I felt like he played not to lose, which puts everybody else on the offense at a disadvantage.
100%.
And that's the part about the game that, people were texting me like, Mackey, you better bring brimstone and fire. Mackey, you better talk all your, so I watched the game again. I'm like, the O-line, they weren't terrible. And then I'm watching the game again, and I'm like, 81's out there a ton. Like, we try to throw him. By the way, he had like 3 drops. He had some drops. They're low balls. They're low balls, but he's got to catch them. Hey,
that one to the sideline, that would have been the first down. You got to catch that ball.
That one's right.
You got to catch that ball.
Here.
Yeah.
That one's right. It's a diamond catch, bro. That's the easiest one to catch. But he dropped a couple lower ones too. Sure. True freshman. I get it. You don't want to beat up a freshman kid. You can just tell by the way he runs. He's got bounce to him, like just the way he's jogging through. Like
he was my favorite recruit of all the receivers. I think he just shouldn't be playing right now.
Yeah, he shouldn't be doing. He was playing almost a Z style. An X style Z. Like the routes he was running was curl. He was running a lot of man on routes.
And he played a lot.
He did. He played a ton. Lot. He played a ton, and they threw it to him a ton. I think he had 6. I think the ball came to him 6 times. This is why I say the quarterback's the number one problem, because when your quarterback loses confidence, he touches the ball every play.
Yeah.
And then when your quarterback loses confidence and it's a tight game, your running back says, okay, I don't know if my quarterback's going to make a play, but I'm not going to be the one who doesn't make a play. And then you see your running backs burrow their head into the ground, and they're just running at they're running at somebody's ass.
Yeah.
And then you're injured at receiver, and your receivers, you got Burks, who I think he got 13, the ball thrown to him 13 times. I think he had 9 receptions, something like that. Brandon Thompson's not an X. And then you've got a coordinator. And I didn't ask this specifically of Seth, and I don't like to name, what I'm saying? Those are my teammates, bro. So like, I'm not here. I'm an analyst. I'm not an insider. I don't want to really get into that kind of stuff, but I know Seth's makeup. I know his identity. Seth's, by the way, guys, he's a freaking fullback. Somebody try to make me believe a fullback doesn't want to run any power football. Somebody make me do that.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, right? And the one thing that I will share is when I am told we're running the offense that makes this quarterback the best he can be, that makes too much sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. This is the stuff you ran. This is why you and Levy had a tight connection, right? This gives you normalcy. So you have you don't have to rethink and figure things out. And it's a new scheme. Yeah. It's the scheme you've been running. Number one issue is my quarterback. And watch this. What's the easiest position to learn in college football? What do they say is the easiest position? Okay, let me change my language.
Oh, well, running back.
Plug and play.
Yeah.
When your quarterback has lost confidence and is not accurate, and your running backs aren't making plays, go watch film and tell me how many tackles the ball handlers may miss. Go back and watch film.
Man.
And I'm talking to the people who are saying this and that, everything. Go back and watch. And but Mackey, the O-line didn't move nobody. You can bounce. Go bounce and then make the edge defender have to outspread themselves and cut up underneath them. Something. Yeah. They never did it. They literally never did it. And again, I probably won't be invited on campus for a year, but I'm going to tell the truth. My 2 biggest issues are quarterback and running back. I think Seth has to tell Jackson, you're not good enough at this for us to continue to do this. These are our bones. It's just hard to do mid-season.
Yeah.
But here's what I do know. I know this. I know this. They've got a sub package for Hawk. So there's some the O line know how to do some. There's some stuff that they can tweak to do what Hawk can do, which means they can tweak it to do it for Jackson too. Offensively, bro, it was a cesspool. I still stand by what I said, which was the offensive line was the best position group, all position groups. Obviously, tight end had some big plays, touchdown, and a game sealing, kind of sealing play.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bates almost kills it. What the fudge, bro? Are you kidding me?
You cannot do that, man. That is such bad football. Because and you could feel it. The officials were not going to throw the flag.
Right.
They were going to eat it. It was both sides, and he took off his helmet like a dope.
A dumbass.
And yeah, and you can't do that, man. That gave them a chance that should not have been there.
Dolby.
Yeah.
Billy.
Billy. Well, I'll talk about Billy. That man. I don't know what's going on with Peyton Bowen.
You're gonna talk about
Boy.
That was so Junior Pee Wee. What are we watching? I'm out there like, what are we doing? This is
it
Junior
is so
Pee-wee.
bad. This is the University of Oklahoma, and this guy. It looked like Little Giants, man. It was so bad. It was that was worse than anything Gavin Freeman did all of last year.
I agree.
The whole game. And Peyton had one good run back and almost got it. Had the blocking wasn't where it needed to be, and so he couldn't push it to the sideline. But man, he's gonna get a few. So he's got to not be healthy. I don't know if you know anything on that or.
No, I just noticed he stopped coming out there, but I did notice RSJ started coming out there, and we didn't skip a beat. RSJ was out there.
RSJ is really good. And we'll go defense and special teams. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think where I stand on the offensive line is they shouldn't have such a low ceiling. As Oklahoma, you need to have better players, and your backups need to be better. I think as soon as they get to Tennessee, Auburn, Texas, watching Texas play Michigan, man, those tackles are gonna. It's going to be a day. They're going to need to bring an extra set of hard hats because it's going to be hard. That game is going to be tough. Running back, it's funny. We said this a year ago too. The same thing last year, that the holes were there, and they just weren't finding them. It's the same thing. And Sawchuk found it later in the year after they tweaked a few things, right? They started doing the sniffer. They Stogner was changing a little bit of what he was doing, and the run game got better. But it's still the same old deal. The thing that Tatum does, and I showed this last year in video, Barnes gets the ball, drops his head. The thing that Tatum does is what you talk about. It's getting the ball and not being at full tilt and being able to see how that linebacker, and it's so subtle, man. It's basketball, right? When you're playing basketball, you're watching what a guy's doing with his feet, what he's doing with his hips. If he's leaning in, you can force him to lean inside a little more, and then you go the other way. Good running backs just do that. And Barnes does not have the feel for the game. And that's when they talk about the game slowing down from like a sports science standpoint, that is what you are talking about, is to quantify it. It is being able to not worry about that first level of defense. It's worrying about, you don't care who's at the line of scrimmage. You're going to beat those guys anyway, right? Was the O-line great in 2014 when P. Rye went and, had 300 and some odd? They were okay. But they weren't better. They weren't as good as the 15, 16, 17, 18 units. 14 was all right. And P. Ryan went out there and broke records because P. Ryan was so good with pace. He was probably, I won't say less explosive. It was a different kind of explosiveness. But he wasn't burst out the gate like Sawchuk and Barnes are with speed, right? P. Ryan was short, choppy steps. He did get lateral like real quick. He was great. Like he was very shifty in that regard, but he wasn't a burner. Not at all. He was just a really strong, well-built guy who knew how to play the position. you made a good point. If P. Ryan was in the offense last night or DeMarco Murray was in the offense, they probably run for you probably finish the game with like 175 rushing yards. But that being said, center, you still got whipped a few times, still got to be better there. And then running back is just it's OU, man. You got to be better in that. Moving to the defensive side of the ball, I mean, a lot more good there than bad. But I will say this, man, Woody is going to get picked on when
He did get picked on.
dude, and when and Houston went away from it, and then
Yeah.
you started subbing in a little bit. They had a lot of Malone and Kanai out there, a lot of 4 and 26, a lot of 19 and 26, which at times I thought was the best look. To be honest, 19 played really well. I don't know how he did in the run game and stuff like that, but when he was at corner and when he was in coverage, 19 is solid, man. Kanai, other than I think he had one bust that was an issue, and I think he might have been part of the bust that was the score. That was the long
He was a short
touchdown.
corner. He was a
Yeah.
short corner. I guess he could have carried, but he's
It
expected to
didn't
be
look like
safety.
he was supposed to be the guy who carried, though. That looked like the
No,
play
no, no.
where UCF scores that touchdown a year ago, and everybody was on Woody, but they were in
Yeah.
cover 2, and Woody's
Yeah.
supposed to. It
Had to
looked
go.
kind of similar to that, and they were just able to leak the guy out, and he scores a touchdown. But defensive line is really good. Still waiting on the defensive ends. We heard a lot more this season about how those guys were going to be ready to go. RMT looks really good. So I will say this: it looks like defensive ends have improved in run game quite a bit. I think that's just technically just playing good football, being sound. But the piece that we talked about last year, being able to pressure the passer every down. And when you look at elite teams like Texas, look at it, which it's crazy, but man, they got, it's not that Michigan's great, but Texas got pressure very consistently in that game. And they forced that clock and the quarterback to be very short. And they're a good football team, man. Like, it's as much as it pains to say, Texas played good football, and they went up and smashed Michigan in the mouth. When OU did it to Ohio State, we were saying the same thing. So you got to call it what it is. Georgia has those guys. Alabama still has the bones of that, like you talked about. They got some guys who can do it. You got to be better off the edge. Linebacker, I'm curious to see what you have to say about that. Danny had quite a few tackles, but there was also some misses in there. Once again, where guys are just going straight up the A gap, B gap, and there's either nobody there or you're caught peeking at the eye candy, and then it's a miss. And in the secondary, I think they need Peyton Bowen. RSJ is very good. I don't know, especially, man, for Billy to have had the mental bust with that the personal foul that he had, or you just can't do that stuff, man. You got to be smarter as a leader, as a senior. You can't make that kind of mistake that's going to potentially cost you the game. So, but we talked about him. I want to go back to the defensive line. Grayson Halton is probably the most improved player on the roster. It has been fantastic to see that guy. He gets the safety, which it was your game sealing play. That was a big time, and that was all Grayson just whipping his dude. That was beautiful stuff. That is a guy with an explosive first step, who has put on the size, who has put on the strength, and who I was a little skeptical. Could he do it? It was going to be tough. It took him a minute too, man. It took him 3 solid years to really get it done, or 2.5 to really put the weight on that he needed to put on. But defense was still a lot better, I think, going into the SEC though, and I think you might have alluded to it in your post on OU Insider, that there are things and positions that teams are going to try and target, and one I think is going to be Woody over there on his side. If he continues to start and play big minutes, he just doesn't he does not flip the hips the way the other guys flip the hips, and he can be had going across the field. He can be had going to the outside. Like he actually is really good covering the vertical stuff. He's really good with his hands. He actually does pretty good staying on guys' hips. He doesn't get beat deep a bunch, but man, when you're running short stuff and it's just a quick guy who's got the good footwork, who can get Woody looking inside or get him flipping his hips and then go outside. A player kind of like yourself, or a player kind of like, a Jalen Saunders, a guy who's just got a lot of wiggle to their game. Woody's going to have a tough time. So curious to hear what you thought about the defense. Obviously, the better side of the ball, but give us the nuts and bolts of what you thought.
D line, I think you need to separate between tackles and ends. Our D tackles are solid, like solid
Agreed.
anybody in America. Those guys. So we've got 3 or 4. Dominic showed up. Jaden showed up. Terry showed up.
He played
Grayson
well.
showed up. By the way, they play well. We ran more 30 front than 30 front with the stand up. When I went back and watched again, there were a lot of times we had 3 down, and the fourth was really in a 2-point. Again, that just sells me the dream of McCullough. I'm just saying, it sells me the dream. Ends, yes. I did watch RMT close, and he's it reminds me of his freshman year. Oh, he's that close. There are a couple plays where the quarterback feels him and has to step up, and there just isn't someone else supporting him.
Mm-hmm.
He got plays that would have been considered pluses for sure. D tackles, I mean, the D line is solid. We don't have, remember, I think I said it in my 10 thoughts, like if Downs is your best D end, then you're not good enough, because he's not a surefire NFL dude.
Yeah.
He's a great college piece. He's a good college starter. Like, I don't think there's any issue with Downs being a starter on your team, but if he's your dude, right, then you're lacking in that department a bit. And right now, I don't know who's better than him. RMT showing some promise. 30 showed some promise. Anyway, so D line, backers. I'm waiting for Kip to show up. By the way, he's not playing bad, but he's not being a direct factor. He got out leveraged on the play where they get their biggest play of the first half. The clock's running out. It's 14-3, and they're trying to, and they run. I don't even what they run. I want to say a bend back. I think it's just a run bend back. They kind of stay play side, and he bends back all the way around. Either that, or the quarterback throws it, dumps him to the backside. One of the two. But it's behind the line of scrimmage where the backer still has to redo back. The backer's first responsibility is back. Guard back, right? Guard's going to tell me run a pass. Back's going to tell me where to flow. And he gets out leveraged, and you can see the slot guy just walls him, and then the whole sideline is free. They get about 25 yards or something like that. So I'm waiting for Kip to show up. I think he can play better. I think Stutz heard me talking shit about him last week and said, hey, man, hold my beer. However, he's still not a sound tackler.
Yeah.
Man, the play where Dobie cancels the C gap and gives the running back no choice but to meet Stutz in the hole, and Stutz just stones his ass. Mwah, right? That's beautiful.
That was great.
It's called a kiss, right? He kissed his ass. But man, there's so many plays where Stutz is running and leaning, and there's a play they run flow to their sideline. Stutz, by the way, Stutz beats the backside tackle, crosses face at the line of scrimmage. He's in the backfield, and I don't know. I don't know if he stops running his feet and just tries to like put his weight on you to make you fall. I can't put my finger on it.
It was a weird play.
There's too many. Well, watch this. I'm gonna go to another play exactly like it. And so he does that, and then the guy breaks free. And by the way, if Sammy O isn't there, the guy gets 7 yards, but Sammy O is also flowing, and Sammy gets him right. I think he is going to play more too.
Yeah.
Sammy O gets there, makes the play behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage. But that's a play where I'm like, Stutz, okay, first quarter. They run third, or it's second and long. It's 2nd and 9, maybe second possession of the game. They throw RMT, puts pressure on the quarterback. I believe it's RMT, puts pressure on the quarterback. He dumps it to the guy in the slot. We're in a hard cover 2. I want to say it's Kanai is forced. So Kanai kind of just, the guy is like a yard behind the line of scrimmage. Kanai's 3 yards away. So Kanai's like, I am not going to declare because you've got a long way to go and I've got outside contain, which he could have pulled the trigger and hoped that his support was coming. But I get why he did it. I don't think that was a bad deal. You see Peyton Bowen coming. Peyton's playing in the alley, and then you see Stutz coming. Stutz coming, middle backer. I don't know if he was playing back or middle or will that play, but Stutz comes and has a clean shot on him. And because Stutz comes, you can see Kanai and Peyton kind of like, hey, I don't want to get in the middle of it because Stutz coming full fury and he misses him. And Stutz like kind of goes over the guy, and you can see the guy like fall backwards, like, whoa, and he gets 6 yards just by like falling back because Peyton and Kanai kind of like fall off of him. But Stutz just, and I'm just like, bro, you're a middle backer. Hit him with your face mask, right? Like that's how I was taught how to tackle. Use your shoulders, bow your neck back, and kiss everybody with your face mask. Keep your head up. Never this, right? Never leave your feet and never stop running your feet. And it just, I just see him do it a lot. And I'm like, there's something with the way his style of tackling that it's a grapple kind of a thing. And it's kind of like, I got to get you at the moment. And it puts him in positions where he's not flush. So, but, I got to do, but, Stutz play well. Like we're not gonna talk shit about Stutz today. There are some things that just make him a little quirky. Stutz showed up. I think he had 13 solo or 11 solo tackles, 15 total, 2 TFLs. I mean, Stutz showed up in a big way. I do know Stutz, they're flip-flopping Mike and Will a lot more now. So sometimes Stutz is uncovered, which is where he's most dangerous. Yeah. And I think that's meaning he's, for those who don't know what I'm saying, that means he's the Will. When he's covered, that means there's a 3 technique.
I thought they were doing that with him. So that's okay. Okay.
Yes, interesting. Yeah. So sometimes he's uncovered, sometimes he's covered. And when he's covered is when he's dangerous. Because now he's got a tackle where that guard can't just go straight up on him. He can go read and react and make plays. Yeah. Lewis Carter didn't play as much, didn't surprise me. Yeah. When he did play, he made a couple of decent plays. By the way, he's a killer on special teams.
He's fine. Dog.
Yeah, which is fine. McKenzie didn't play as much as I thought he would. But he also played solid, nothing crazy. Again, he just looks right. I think you said it appropriately. His body just looks like he's worked hard on his body. And I think he's going to be a dude for the next couple of years to come. In fact, I've heard, again, from people who know what the hell they're talking about, McKenzie may be the best of the bunch. He's just got to put it together. I mean, you just can't take a guy like Danny and sit him when he has so much impact, like play in, play out.
Sure.
Samuel played his best game as a Sooner. We talked about him last week. He just looked good last week, and I think this week by the way, they didn't give him a sack. That was a freaking sack that he got on that quarterback, and they didn't give him a sack. I saw the official stats. They gave him a TFL for that. That's a sack.
He's really good. He's really good.
Played well going forward. They don't let him play enough playing backwards because Dobie does.
Yeah.
But Dobie, again, it's the consistency. Dobie had a couple of plays where he's flying around trying to be reckless, and he's being reckless. He's still a really good player, one of our best defensive players. But for me, it's always about being your best. And I feel like he's a guy who, if he just mentally, I don't even know how to describe it, but if his mental capacity went just a little higher, he could probably be a play on Sunday guy.
Yeah.
Because he's great instincts covering. He's the best on the team at carrying routes. Go watch Dobie.
Yeah.
He's playing the 50-50 where he's kind of in the box, but he's not in the box. And that slot is spread a little wide to widen him, right? That's the whole goal, is to get him a little farther away from the box. When he reads pass, and by the way, they had him as a backer, which was interesting when they did the you saw that, you were at the game, right? They did D-line and then linebackers. Dobie was with the backers. But he's a guy that when he reads pass, he looks up too, and he's really good. He'll take the in cut, take the corner,
he identifies
take the
really fast,
and he carries it like a DB. He carries it like a DB would, which I think is very beneficial to the defense. And he comes and feels when he sees run and he knows he's alley defender, he keeps that outside shoulder free, and he
tackles shit. Well. He tackles well.
Shit. So
I don't think he's athletic enough to play with the recklessness because he just can't make up the ground that he misses when he doesn't. If he just kept it sound and kept it fundamental, he might be the best player, save Danny, on defense.
He's definitely could be up there. Definitely could be up there. Solid, but obviously just me penny picking.
Yeah,
Corners, I like Malone. You liked him last week, and I was like,
yeah,
let me watch him a little more this
dude.
week. Let me tell you, he looks like Woody, like body type.
Yeah,
He's really thick on the lower half, but he plays better. He
watch
plays
his hips, man.
he plays better.
He's in and out of his hips so much better. He keeps his hips. He's because of how fast he can move his hips and get out. He can stay square longer. He doesn't. When you're a guy who does not flip your hips well, you've got to predict better,
Yep,
and you've got to
got to
you,
guess.
you've got to guess. And if you guess wrong, you're got.
You're,
And Woody, on those first few plays when Woody was getting taken advantage of early in the game, he just guessed wrong. And they knew exactly what they were doing, and that was the game. That was the game plan, was to let's test this guy and let's see what's going on. Because that was, I want to say, the first 4 out of 5 passes were to Woody's guy. That I think there was 3 in
I
there
don't
for
remember.
sure, and there might have been a 4th one. And they tried to work it, man. And Dez, I agree. I think Dez is one of your best corners.
He is. He is. I think Kanai is a better fit for. Again, I'm just penny picking here, but I think Kanai
Yeah.
is better on an X. Z's can get loose with him a little bit because he's a bigger, longer guy, longer
Mm,
strider.
that's
But
interesting.
corners. You know what? I don't know why we don't play more man. I don't know why we don't. We should. I think we could, especially 2-man. And I think there's some concerns at backer where that second level, if those guys miss, there's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? If everybody's turning and running and those guys miss, we're in trouble. And then I'm going to say the one again, a lot of people don't want to hear it, but for as good and as opportunistic Billy is, Billy still has his warts. And he's I'm speaking to the echelon of All American. So I'm thinking
Mm,
about what Rodney Poole looked like when he was the man. I'm thinking about what Roy Lee looked like when he was the man. I'm thinking about what D Straight looked like when he was the man. All right. I'm thinking about like those guys were just like shut shit down.
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't a ton of you went into his area, you messed up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there
Yeah.
wasn't a ton of like why did he do that? Or oh man, he got shooked. Or oh man, buddy bossed him. Or oh, he caught it out. Like, and there's just an aspect to Billy's game that is there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Yeah.
some of that to his game. Can't put my finger on it. I know he had 7 picks and some house calls and all that good stuff, and those things make people, I'm sure he'll probably. I don't know if he's a 4-4 guy. That quarterback from BYU was on his ass on that pick six last season, but but but
Yeah.
but he's a phenomenal athlete. I think he'll jump 36, run 4.4, 4.5, something like that.
Yeah.
Especially if he's had a chance to test for it.
I think
But
he's
man,
four. I think
football
he's
wise,
probably
I mean,
four fours, 4.5,
yeah. He could
which is still
absolutely
very
could be
good.
100%. Just as a leader, you think about like a honey badger, and I know I'm throwing out a ridiculous name, but similar body type and a guy who caused and turned a lot of turnovers. He was
Yeah.
also the guy on 3rd and 8 would make sure you didn't get the catch. He was also the guy when everybody else got fooled on that backside screen. He read that shit and would split 2 guards and knock your ass out 2-yard gain. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like the safety is the free safety by definition is the one guy that the defense can't scheme. That's why it's cover one, right? Or when it's cover zero, they know you're in coverage on someone. But generally, there's one guy who's the defensive quarterback who is not in so much of this game, but he's the deepest guy on the field. You should read and diagnose stuff faster and more consistently. And that's just my opinion. I don't know
Yeah.
how often they have him robbing, clouding, overloading the side. I don't know how many times they have him replacing something like that. I don't know the defense that well to know, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just have to do your job. Hey man, you gotta replace, the field. And of course, you can react upon replacing, but if you don't replace the field and they run that 12-yard dig route and you're not there, you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So I don't know
sure.
how much of it is that.
Yeah.
But I don't see him. I mean, RSJ came in there, and I don't know if you saw the pick, but RSG, you know what I'm saying? He cherry picked, bro. He sat on that back hash and he saw it, and then boom, as soon as that arm started moving, he cut in front of the receiver.
That's
Peyton
big
Bowen
time.
has some of that in him. Peyton Bowen sees stuff happening. You can see him trigger. Billy's more of a guy who I don't see that. And he's a guy, it just pisses me off. Too many second and third level routes. They run action. You know who the one guy who should not get fooled by action is? The safety. The safety
Safety.
has no run responsibility until the ball is in the running back's hand. You should be seeing run and watching the receiver to see where is he. If the receiver is coming across face, you should be playing that. Especially if
Yeah.
you are in four, where you know the corners are going to carry. If the corners are carrying all the way up and you see some type of action, you should be driving on that shit. And I don't see him doing that enough. So
Agreed.
he's still a B for me when I think he should be, you know, and an All-American is a double A.
Yeah.
Billy's a B, which oh, Mackie, why are you talking so bad? Because he's an All-American. I want to see my All-Americans be game changers. You know what I'm saying? Not solid contributors. I was a B. I was a B. I know my place. Nobody ever said Mackie's an All-American. Granted, if I don't get hurt, I'd like to see what I could have done as an upperclassman. But I do know that Billy is a senior and has the accolades. Damn it, play like it. Stutz came and showed everybody that he's got AA capabilities. I want to see Billy do it. And I'm not talking about one pick on a tip or a schemed up defensive play where the quarterback had pressure and he just happened to be in the spot and he picked 60. I want to see him go make the play. And I damn sure don't want to see him looking like Junior Pee Wee's catching punts.
Brother, you can't do that on the punts, man. That was awful. I really hope that Peyton, that you got to have somebody back there who can do it better than Billy can. That was so rough.
Damn.
I don't know, man.
I just think he didn't have confidence. I think, listen, I honestly believe everybody from Jackson to the running backs,
yeah,
to the, I mean, think about it. Return specialist. Okay, I'm returned. So 2000 season. Funny story. Here we go. 2000 season. I want to say, I believe JT Thatcher got special teams All-American for return man because JT was killing.
Was it the Mosi
But anyway,
Tupa or something? Yeah. There's a special teams award.
That. So anyway, 100% JT's on that squad. Well, we play K-State. Me and JT are the kick returners. So we're the two back there. JT's the primary. So he gets 3/4. That's hilarious. You get 3/4 of the field if you're the primary. The other guy gets, like, if they cough and corner it, that it's for you. And so I'm the other guy. Yeah. I'm the other guy. And JT takes the kick, and I think he gets tackled on the one. On that play against K-State in Manhattan. On that play, I think he turns an ankle or something. He's hurt for like a quarter or two. So I have to be the punt returner. And so we're in Manhattan. They're trying to come back. They've got K-State back then with Schneider. They always had a punter who could punt it like 38 yards, but it's going to go high as hell. So, like, you're really never going to get a chance to return it, right?
Yeah.
And that was a good catch. I could catch the ball. So, they always felt comfortable that's why I was back there. They knew I'd catch it. Right. So they punt the ball. And you kind of can feel, you know what I'm saying? You get a feel for who's around you. And I know Mike T's on one side, and I think D Straight's on the other side. There are not the gunners, but blocking the gunners. Yeah. And I could just feel Mike T getting close. So the ball's getting closer. By the way, it's unfair. I mean, if anybody has the game, you can go watch it. Mike T hits me. Okay. The ball's getting ready. It's like a second away. I get hit by Mike T, and it just boom, and it goes straight through. It's a fumble. You better believe I go back and get it. I get the ball, but I just remember, like, it's a lot of pressure when you're in a close game and you've got to secure the catch. And let me tell you, guess what the number one thing coach tells you is? Do you know the number one thing? Don't let the ball bounce, especially on turf.
Oh,
so Coach Stoops is like, don't let the ball bounce.
Yeah.
You got it, Mackie? Yeah, coach. I got you. And then here it happens, right?
He got catch.
Literally, the guy's smart enough. He literally pushes Mike T into me, and he knocks me, and then the ball hits me, and I had to put them biceps on somebody, you know what I'm saying, to cure the ball. But I know I know Billy was like, this is a tight game, and if I drop this could be a detriment to the team. And that is a vibration that permeates the team. Mm-hmm. And the guy the number one individual who can break that vibration, I know this because he was a 4-star general for us, is the quarterback.
Oof.
Hey guys, D-Mac, we're good, bro. I remember because I had to stay in at X. Jay
Yeah.
Hype's like, hey man, good catch, baby. You caught that shit. Mac, you didn't drop that, you caught it. I'm like, I definitely dropped it. He's like, oh, you got, let's go. We up. Let's go. Get in the huddle. And it's like, boom, play is over. Let's go kick ass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it just feels to me like Jackson's the guy in the huddle, like, his eyes are wide eyed and he's trying to be the guy that permeates the defense. And so you can see, I
Right.
guarantee you, if you do 25 punts in practice, he could probably catch in one hand. We used to practice catching in one hand. We used to practice with our hands behind our back, get to catch it the last second. I mean, we did all these drills. I'm sure Billy's really solid. He just, in that moment, there's a lot of anxiety and puts you in a position where, you junior Pee Wee.
That's interesting because the OU's defense was so awful in 16, 17, 18.
Oh,
But you would feel the energy with Baker and Kyler that they also were timely with the
100%.
playmaking.
100%.
Where it's like, yeah, we've been awful the whole game, but look what he just did. He's on our ass. We need to go make a play. And you're right. In that game,
Who
you
comes to
never
mind?
felt that.
Caleb Kelly was a guy who, how many games were we in tight games? And I could think of the West V game with Austin.
Yeah.
Caleb Kelly's the one who gets the forced fumble, picks it up, takes it to the house. Like there's a lot of games where those guys, the defense as a whole, you're right, they were trash. They were trash. Like they were terrible, but they were opportunistic guys.
Yeah.
And man, that's a great analogy. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. It just that you're right, but you never felt that. Not one point in last night's game did you ever feel the energy, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it through the stadium. You'll Baker in multiple games where they didn't need to be close, where it's like we're gonna go score here
Again, damn
yeah
it.
yeah
Yes.
and you didn't feel that the drive. I want to ask you about a play. Was it, because I thought it was drawn up well, and if Jackson gets the ball to Sharp, he's probably got a first down because he's got at least 10 to 12 yards to run. And that's that little flip out, right?
The action.
Yeah. What happened there?
Yeah. So it's exactly what we're talking to. The quarterback feels pressure and he's pressed.
Yeah.
Your only job you're talking about, we run action this way, and then we run the naked with Bauer into the
with
flats to
Bauer
our
and Jackson
sideline.
to the
It's
flat.
wide open. He's got about 12 yards. If he makes one guy miss, it's a huge play.
Yeah.
So your only job. So here's how those action plays work. And I just remember Leach telling Josh, like, you know why it's called a naked? I'm going to break this down so people understand.
Let's go.
Why is it called a naked bootleg?
There's nobody out there.
There's no 1-2 block for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so watch this. What happens if you run a naked bootleg and backside C gap comes?
But you got to get rid of the ball, or you got to beat him.
You got to have a good enough fake for him to believe that the ball is going that way, so that it's kind of like zone read, right? It's kind of like you're trying to make them change their angle. So when you watch it, the guy is not close enough to Jackson to be in a run play. They're blitzing that. They're guessing. By the way, Houston was totally guessing. That's a run blitz. If they run this way, we've got a guy, and I got just like the very first play of the game. They're guessing, right? Well, when you run it naked, that guy is your guy. So the guy you're asking me about is Jackson's guy. Jackson's only job is to, number one, not get tackled by him. Number two, get the ball around, through, over, past, in some way, him. That's 100% Jackson. So the play was a great play by the defensive player. The quarterback simply needed to beat him. Jackson could have did one pump fake and the guy's flails, and then he could have threw a nerf. Jackson could have pump faked and ran the ball himself. Jackson could have just threw a nerf over him, more loft, and it got it over him, right? So, like, I don't know the right answer. I just know that that's Jackson's guy. And so the scheme is great. The play's drawn up. Everything's perfect. Again, I take it back to vibrations and anxiety. Jackson's anxiety is so high, he's just trying to get rid of it. And so it's just that frequency where it's like the guy's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. He has to get big. And Jackson is in that same frequency. So he throws, it's perfect. Boom. The guy can hit it.
Yeah.
If Jackson's comfortable and he's like, ha, got your ass, boom, and then throws it, You've got Bauer and he's cooking with fish grease down the sideline. One guy to be, there's a safety probably rallying from the alley, but a corner deep. That's Jackson. That's a minus on film today for sure. 100%, because everybody did what they're supposed to do. And in that instance, there's a what if. There's all these what ifs. Hey, what if they do this? What if they do that? What if they do this? So what if they blitz backside? Hey, whose man is it? Like the offensive line can't pick that up. They're all running this way.
Sure.
That's quarterback's man, right? So quarterback has to in some way beat him. And Jackson was just, you could just see he just wanted to hot potato it, which made a perfect opportunity for the guy to get his hand on it. Great.
Yeah.
That's great to bring up. That's a good play.
Yeah. Well, I bring it up because the initial sentiment was the offensive line. They didn't give him a chance, but that did not feel like an offensive line. That felt like you just got to beat that guy and get the ball where it needs to go.
The entire offense and 10 guys on Houston's defense are flowing that away, which is what the play is designed to do. Houston, that was not an end. That was a guy coming from the second level, or if it wasn't in, it was a stand-up in. Yeah. And the tackle is not designed to worry about that guy. It's going to give the whole play away. The backer is going to read it and stay home. The backer's reading what's happening. So the backers are going to flow based upon what the line do. So that guy, by Jackson's depth back from the line of scrimmage and his positioning from the tackle, there's not enough room for that guy to make the tackle. Yeah. Jackson just needs to make him jump or whatever, have a window, whatever he needs to do, throw the ball, lead the receiver, something to where that guy can't block it. That's Jackson's man, 100%.
Great stuff. So, and we'll talk about it this week, but Tulane is going to be a real test, man. You didn't think it to start the season, probably didn't think it after Temple. You were hopeful that Temple was just a deal where they work the bugs out and then they come out and beat the brakes off Houston, who had an awful first game showing, right? Just horrific. They played much better. You talked about Five. He was out there pregame, like palming his helmet. Guys will do that. Like just he was out there palming it. It was just funny. But it's going to be a test. And Tulane has some good football players, right? Mario Williams included. Right. That's just a little joke. But
is he at Tulane now? Is that where he is?
He's at Tulane. Yeah.
How about since we're doing that? How about McCutcheon? McCutcheon was locking shit down. McCutcheon was locking shit down. McCutcheon, he's a starting corner. He was number one, bro.
Yeah.
He was number one for Houston.
He was a good ball player. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. I'm going to give, and we'll talk about it more in the week, but let's do this right now. I'm going to put a percentage on it, and I want to hear yours. Percentage that Michael Hawkins takes snaps in the Tulane game. I'm going to say, can't say 50-50. That's a cop-out. But I'm going to say there is a 60% chance that he takes snaps. So more than likely, he will get snaps in the game against Tulane. Where do you stand on that?
What do I hope or what do I think?
What do you think will happen? 0%.
What do I hope will happen? 65-70.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm just being honest. I don't think. I think they're going to try to give Jackson an opportunity. Because listen, I don't know if they think they can win an SEC schedule with a true freshman who's going to need to get beat up to do what he does best.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to need to get beat up. And then if you sit him and bring Jackson in later, you're talking about damaged goods. So I think it's a 0. I hope it's 65-70%.
Interesting. I just think based on how they've played and based on what Tulane is going to do, and this isn't coming from like a best case scenario, this is what they need to do. I think it will be a force. I think they're going to have situations in the game where they need to pick up a 4th and 1, or they need to get a 3rd and 4. They had them against Houston. Tulane offensively is explosive enough to take advantage of the stuff where Houston missed. Houston, that they as good as they played at times, they also had some missed opportunities. Tulane has some backs who can go get it. They have some receivers who can go get it. That'll be a problem.
Tulane has the best back coming into the game.
Yeah.
Go back and watch week 1, week 2, Tulane's back. He is good. He's an NFL. He's going to play in the NFL. He might be a 5th rounder, but he's an NFL running back.
Yeah.
Quarterback can we going the second level of the defense? We're gonna find out because their quarterback can fit the ball in there. We could 100% lose, Barry. We could
Yeah.
we could lose at home to a non P4 conference opponent who looks to have better athletes than us at multiple position groups because of lack of depth and health in some areas. Like here's what I think though. I think we will take them seriously after how bad we played. The
Yeah.
people who are saying the sky is falling, we won the game. Go be on Notre Dame's message boards this week.
Ooh,
Northern
better be
Illinois,
2-0.
go to Auburn. Go. By the way, Auburn looks like a game that might be a toilet bowl that we could win. Based upon how Auburn played yesterday.
Man.
Them boys find a way to lose. So every given Saturday is a different opportunity. I think the guys know they could lose. They're gonna watch film and be like, oh shit, these guys are good. Houston had no receivers who could start for us if we're healthy.
Yeah.
Houston had no running backs. Their best running back was 5'5", 165, and he was cooking. Go watch their O-line not get any push and what he did. To all the people that are
Great point.
critiquing, go watch the little guy for Houston when he came in. Go watch how he navigated through creases because he knew how to press the hole and find a crevice, get small, and use leverage. That little dude was getting busy with an old line that could not move our defensive line at all. And that's the part of running back where you need a guy. Tulane's guy, listen, he might run for a buck. I don't know. I mean, our defense is stout in that sense, but like he gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a problem. And our running backs are gonna have to match him, or people will see, like, wait a minute, why is their guy making people miss and our guys? Yeah, that ain't the O-line fault that you didn't make a second level guy miss. That's the running backs guy. O-line is supposed to cover up 5. The running back's got to make a backer and or whole defender miss. That's on the running back. Go watch how many times that player tackles our running back versus all the other running backs you see in games. A lot of running backs, and it's not because the scheme is better. It's what you said, Barry. Running backs know how to say, if it's blocked perfectly, this linebacker's assignment is to scrape play side, which means if I take an angle just a little wider, he's got to run a little faster. I can stick my foot in the ground and cut up on him. That's what a competent running back will do. Barnes says, I'm just going to just run at the angle, and it makes it very easy for the backer to just time it up and get a clean hit on him. And then, of course, Sawchuk, if it's not clean through the first hole, he's just, I don't know. I don't even know what to say there, man. I clearly Murray saw it and was like, bro, sit your ass on the bench.
Yeah.
By the way, is Murray a Sooner? DeMarco's a Sooner?
Yeah.
Is he a Sooner?
Yeah.
Rhetorical question. You got to coach your guys up better, bro. You got to coach your guys up better, bro. Just again, I'm a Sooner, bro. I can speak about Sooners. I'm not on the payroll. Yeah. I'm not giving up insider information. I watch the freaking games too. You got to coach your guys up better. This is 2 years in a row where I'm like, what the hell is going on? You're an all-time great. You're an NFL dude. You're recruiting like a stud, but your guys got to play better. Our running backs look extremely average. For OU, they're terrible. For our caliber, what OU has produced throughout the years, our running backs are terrible. You got to do something about it. With all due respect. With all due respect.
Yeah, it's I say it again, man. Tatum's best back there. He does things. You know what I've never seen Barnes do, and this is what, especially in this scheme, Mixon. One of the things that made him so good was when they, now granted they did a lot of the GT counter, but Mixon was so good at setting up the block with the backer where he would basically allow that backer to flow, and as soon as he knew that backer was the offensive lineman was between him and the backer, he would stick a foot in the ground and go, and then he could just make you miss in the open field too. But he was so good at playing slow. Watch Mixon. Mixon is not playing at 100 miles an hour, and he's faster than every running back in that room. He's not playing 100 miles an hour when he's playing ball, and that's what, even like a Damian Williams, who wasn't
he's undervalued, bro. He was a beast.
Undervalued. He was great. He was great at that, and Quentin Griffin, also a guy who was very, very good at filling where the backers were. it is what you got to do to be an elite running back. It is every year Alabama, it feels like they got a guy who can go out and do that. And it's a position where you've seen in the NFL, you can just go find guys to do it, right? So at OU, why are they struggling so much to find a guy who can just set the block up, hit the hole, and get 5 or 6? To me,
20 showed us he could do it. He just didn't
yeah,
get the rock on Saturday. Eight showed us he could do it some. He's just not getting the rock enough. We've got to do a better job of putting the guys on the field who are showing they can do it. Now again, blocking. 2 came out there and I'm telling you, you go back and watch. They brought 6 and 2 filled like admirable. I mean, stoned him. Boom. And I don't know if 20 or 2 or 8, excuse me, are savvy enough to do that.
Which is why he's starting, right? But to me, in this Tulane game, 8's got to get 8 to 10 carries. I think at least you got to give him 8 to 10 carries. See what and put that threat out there, right? Put that in the defense's mind. Set the tone a little bit. This is a game where that size-wise, you should have the advantage. Again, what you said, maybe not athletically at every spot, but size-wise, they had the advantage against Houston. They'll have the advantage against Tulane. Go out there and lean on them and beat them up a little bit. And we're going to continue beating people up here on the podcast, man. OU Insider, go over there, guys. Grab yourself a membership. All the team news, recruiting news. The board right now is definitely letting their voices be heard. If you're wanting to also go over there and complain or bring some positivity, maybe you're seeing something different and you want to let everybody know, myself and Damian both on the board, interacting with you guys. So go over there, OU Insider, grab yourself a membership. D-Mac, closing thoughts before we get out of here today.
2-0. And I played in some shitty games and came back the next week and let people see different. I don't call it crimson color glasses. I just don't put L's on the schedule until we get them. And then after we get them, I tell the truth. If any OU staff hears this, I'm just telling my truth. I love you guys. I'll die sooner, but I'm not going to lie. So there's that. I think we could lose Saturday. I don't have to play, so I'm not throwing a nail out there. But I watched Tulane's game yesterday before our game, and they've got skill guys.
They're good.
If we have any pressure, if we get down big, if we're in a shootout, we'll be okay. We'll find a way to win, I believe, at home. If we are up 5 or 6 points, and then there's a 14-point swing, and now we're down 4 to 8 or 9 points, and the offense has to be able to put a drive together, and then the defense is like, holy shit, even if we get a stop, that may not be enough. I just felt, you felt it. You were in the stadium last night. I just felt how much pressure was in the stadium because we were in really a field goal game because we missed the field goal.
That safety had to happen.
Oh,
and if Houston gets to the 40 on their last drive,
they're gonna try it, and the game we could lose. I think that's healthy. That was going to be my point. I think it's healthy that the guys this week know this is a game we could lose. Let's see how they come out in a game like that. I'll be watching the offensive line very closely. I'm going to be watching Barry, you just reminded me. We said that shit all last year. I'm going to be watching the running back rotation. I think running back could do Jackson a lot of good. I think Jackson doesn't have faith in his running backs. I think Jackson's like, shit, when they call a running play, I don't think we're going to get anything out of it. So it's on me. I think if he had a running back that could go get him 8, 6, 10, 12, 5, 4, 9, you know what I'm saying? It loosens him up. Yeah. And I told you how I felt about 2 and 27 kind of has this whole, he's either hitting or missing. And right now he's missing. So.
Man, great stuff. Yeah, I agree. So often he's in 3rd and 8, 2nd and 11, right? And you just can't play quarterback really well when you're not in 2nd and 4. Watch Jackson operate when it's 2nd and 4. It's a different thing for every single quarterback ever. It is just you can play ball a little bit better. But Sooner Nation, want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Look out for the podcast coming out this week. Make sure you're on the OU Insider message board. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you soon.